Hey, what's up? Tonight's episode of Pop Punk and Pizza is sponsored by Blueberry Podcasting. It's the podcasting service that I've always used since I started podcasting in 2014. I've always used it for Pop Punk and Pizza. So if you're thinking about starting up a podcast, or maybe you're thinking about using a different hosting service, go to blueberry.com, and that's spelled BLUBRRY.com. And choose the hosting plan you want. You find the one you want, and then at checkout, use that promo code Bangarang Radio to get 1 free month of hosting. And the big reason why I like to use Blueberry is because it integrates really well with my WordPress website for Pop Punk and Pizza. So, and also the statistics are top notch as well. So again, blueberry.com, BLUBRRY.com, and at checkout, use that code Bangarang Radio. And if you need any help setting up your podcast or transferring your podcast over, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. I've been having a lot of friends come up to me lately and say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. Can you help me out? So blueberry.com is where it's at, and that is the hosting service I use for Pop Punk and Pizza. So let's get this show on the road, shall we?
I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bangarang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.
You're listening to Pop Punk and Pizza with Jacques Lamour.
Hello, welcome to Pop Punk and Pizza. I am Jacques Lamour. It is so great to have you here tonight, or maybe you're listening to the podcast version later on. Regardless, I am so excited about tonight's guest. We have Luc Gaffwood, who is the frontman and lead vocalist of Calling All Captains out of Canada, joining us tonight. Good evening, Luc. How's it going, man?
Good evening. It's going well.
Good. We like before we went on to do this live stream, we were cleaning up our spaces and trying to get it all nice and tidy. And man, like, you need to come over to my house and clean my room, because from what I can see on my screen right now, you did a pretty good job in 5 minutes. Like, that's impressive.
Thank you. I do it for you guys. Yeah.
We
No, well, for real, I was gonna say is that actually I don't mind cleaning bathrooms.
yeah, that's something I don't mind. And is it weird that I like to vacuum? Or do you like
No,
to vacuum too?
I'm not like vacuuming's biggest fan, but
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
first EP was pretty good.
There's just, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, there's just something about vacuuming. It's just like fulfilling, because like you see the dirt, like you see it get all
Yeah,
sucked up. And that's kind of like the whole bathroom thing, where you see, if you're cleaning the mirror or the toilet or the sink, you see all the dirt just like disappear. And there's
you
something,
can you can see progress.
yeah. And I think that's what it is about vacuuming as well. I don't know. I'm weird, but I love that's how we're starting off this this episode. Absolutely love it. So Luke, I've been enjoying Calling All Captains, the 2019 EP. Nothing Grows Here, and as I was listening to it again today, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know a ton about Luke or even the rest of Calling All Captains. Like, it's like I've been listening to this EP for a while, and it's like I'm gonna have to. I'm just excited to like learn about you and the band, and like simply just like how you got started in your musical journey. Like, I know that you were you started out as a drummer, right?
Yeah.
So like, how old were you when you started drums, and who introduced you to that?
Oh man. So I've been playing music, I'd say like trying to form bands since I was like 13 years old. And my first band, we were in junior high school. We were in grade 9. We called ourselves Poverty Stricken.
Poverty stricken. I love that. That sounds so punk rock.
Yeah, we just yeah, and then I drew like this logo and yeah, I don't know. It's a bunch of cringe, but that was my first like band. And we didn't have vocals because we were just writing instrumentals. None of us were confident to sing enough, but we got to open for the school play because we were the only band in the school. And we played 2 songs. We played one original where it was basically me doing a guitar solo for the whole time. Oh yeah, I was playing guitar at this point. I
Oh,
started
okay.
playing
So
guitar.
you
I
started
started,
at guitar. Okay.
yeah, I started playing acoustic guitar when I was like 11, 12, and then I got my first electric when I was 13 years old.
Just like
So
prime time to get
yeah,
that first electric, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, that was the shit right there. So yeah, so I was just like bumming my way. We all went to different high schools, so we didn't keep the same band or anything like that. I kind of just joined the school's rock and pop class, where it kind of exposed me to my first like ability to play a drum set because
Uh-huh.
like the school had a drum set, right?
Right.
So I was playing it, and immediately, like as soon as I started playing it, I picked it up. And so that Christmas, I begged my mom. I was like, Mom, like please, like I need a drum set. Like I, it's like I know I play guitar already, but like you got like it's like drums are cool. So
And then they look at the price tag. They're like,
well,
$500 for the cheapest one,
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
well,
I don't know
yeah,
what starter kits are these days, but it
well,
doesn't even matter. They're not cheap.
yeah. I'll never forget it because it was $8.99 on Musician's Friend, and it came with everything I needed: cymbals, kick pedals, this and that, right? So
What was it like the
it was a
what
sound
brand?
percussion 8-piece drum set.
Okay.
So it was
Wow.
like big metal, like like big toms.
Yeah, had all
So
the big toms, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
That's awesome.
yeah. So I remember I moved schools quickly in the first week of grade 10, which I went to a music school, kind like a music like an arts oriented like high school.
That's awesome.
But I moved schools a week
Oh, wow.
into high school. So while I was doing this rock and pop thing, I went to a new math class, right? And in this
Okay.
new math class, like a couple weeks into it, the teachers they'd switch seatings around here and there, right?
Sure.
So they'd switch. I was eventually sitting to this nice young gentleman named Connor, and I dropped a guitar picking class, and he was like, "Yo, you play guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, that's right." And he's like,
That's right, dude. What
"Yeah,
about it?
yeah." And he was like, "Dude, I was like, I play guitar too. Like where do you live? We should jam sometime."
Yeah.
Turns out, we live on the same street. I'm number 21, and he's number 10.
No shit. Wow.
Take the same bus home, but because we didn't really pay attention to each other, we never had it
Never
click.
put
There's a
those
lot of people.
together.
There's a lot of kids on the bus. You know what I mean? So,
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
but so that was like the start of like the Luke and Connor special. He's been my best friend ever since. And I remember we joined a band together with our current bass player Nick. This was not Calling All Captains. This was a different band, and we played some local shows. Did the local band thing, and it just like kind of fizzled out. Just like I don't know, just like lots of too many moving parts. Like it's that early 20s stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know,
No, I totally get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but our bass player kept on. He formed a new band, which was Calling All Captains. He formed a new band with our current guitar player Brad and our previous vocalist Mike. They formed a group, and I went to their first show because Nikki was like, "Yo, man, you should come like watch us play." And I was like, "All right, man, for sure. I'll come support you."
Yeah.
And then I was the drummer for Nick, right? So I used to be the drummer for the band, and then I watched them play as this new band, this Calling All Captains. And then after he was like, "Yo, how'd you like it?" And I was like, "It's okay, but like your drummer's not very good." And
I hate to tell you this, man,
yeah,
but your
I was like,
drummer just blows.
Yeah, well, it's not that he was a bad drummer. It's just that it wasn't the next step drumming, right? And I'm not saying
Hmm.
I was either, but I was like, I played to a click drum or a click track. I was like, I really practiced. I didn't play with like 10 cymbals, right? So yeah, there's just a lot of things. But yeah, eventually they had me come audition for Colonel Captain's as the drummer, and I did pretty okay because they asked me to come aboard, and from then we just started playing shows. We did a tour or two, and Connor was in the background. At this time, he was consulting all captains. And like I was writing some guitar stuff and drum stuff for the band, and he was helping me, but he wasn't in the band. He was just helping me with my songwriting. And eventually, we got this opportunity to do like a long tour, like a 2-month tour, all across Canada. And we asked him to come and be a fill-in guitar player, so that our frontman didn't have to play guitar and sing, because he was doing that the whole time.
Okay. You're trying
Yeah.
to give him some more freedom, I
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
At this time, he got really into Real Friends and Story So Far, and he wanted to like not play with the guitar.
Yeah.
This was like the rise of that like sad boy stuff. This was like 2000, like 15, 16,
Okay. Yeah,
something like that.
that was really when it was starting to
Yeah,
explode.
khaki shorts type shit.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like
Um.
I always wore khaki shorts like before then.
Oh yeah.
You know? So,
Hold on, pardon me one.
yeah, sure.
I have the fellas. They're gonna be, or at least Connor and the guitar players are coming over. I have the
Oh,
studio over
cool.
there. And
Oh, nice.
we normally practice on Wednesdays. So
Uh-huh.
like I know I have Wednesdays like for the band, right? So that's
Yeah.
today. And this is
So
for the
technically,
band.
I was gonna say technically this is for the band.
Well,
Well, shoot.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
feel
This is definitely for the band.
feel special that you're
Yeah.
ditching band practice and hanging out with us.
Well, yeah. Hey, I'm the singer, man.
That's right.
But
You're
yeah,
the
we'll get
singer.
there.
You can do
So
whatever
yeah,
you
so
want.
let's get up to that point. So we had Connor come aboard for the tour, and it was like the perfect flow. Like there was 5 of us. They were all doing like the jumping thing on stage. It's like I was in the back just holding it down. And after that big tour, we did another like monthish tour or something like that. And we had plans to go to the UK and to do an England tour. And that was all DIY. We had no label, no nothing, no management. It was just, this was with another band called Chief State. If you want to get really in depth on that, you can look at we have a documentary with Chief State on the Mutant League Records YouTube channel. You can give that a watch if you're listening after the show, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, so we went over there, and right before we went, Mike, he kind of dropped the bomb on us. He's like, "Hey guys, like this touring life, it's not for me. Like I want like a solid relationship, this and that. You know, personal reasons. The band life was not for him. So, which is fair, honestly. Some days I feel that myself, but we push
Yeah.
on.
Everybody does. Yeah.
Everybody, yeah. It's so anyway. He told us that, and when we got back, we were still writing tunes. We had a couple songs that we had written, but we needed to get vocals recorded on, and we were doing some auditions, and a few of them had like kind of unrealistic expectations of what being like a touring band was like. Of course, it looks amazing from the outside. They were like, like how much do you personally get paid? Like what if I, like this and that. Like I just started a job. I was like, oh, buddy, I've quit jobs. You know what I mean? Like
It's like this is what you get. You get $10 a day to eat.
oh, we don't
That's
even do
what you
that for
get.
ourselves. We don't even do that. All of it goes back into like the band account.
Yeah.
To this day, we've paid ourselves $15 because one time we did it. One time we did it in Toronto. One time we paid ourselves.
And it was all downhill.
We've yeah, man. Well, it's like straight up, we've never paid ourselves out from this band, which I think a lot of people don't realize is how we get a lot of things done,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Some advice for some other bands is You know, like when you get paid for a show, don't split it down the middle and go buy booze, or like, you know, like don't split it and then go have a fun night. You know, like take that 150, put that in a box, and then don't touch it, and then you play the next show and you get however much, and then you put that in the box, and then you have a cost coming up for the band. You're like, oh, let's check the box. You know, like eventually that box will get big enough that you can put it into a bank account, right? And then you have a band's bank account. And so like it's all these little steps. But yeah, continuing with the story.
We can
I,
definitely get into some
yeah,
of that later on because
totally.
that would be good to hear.
Yeah. I okay, we're already at 16 minutes. I'll speed up this little story. If
Hey,
you
no,
well,
we've got
I'm
time.
telling
So
I'm telling an abridged version. If you guys really want to get in like the in depth of calling all captains, there's a documentary we put out called "Made for This." Check that out as well. After we love documentaries, big fan. Um,
hey, why
so
not? I love documentaries too. I'm gonna have to. I haven't watched that one either, so I'm gonna have to
oh
check that out.
yeah, that one. The director, he won an award at a film festival for that documentary.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool. That one's called "Made for This." You
Okay.
can that's free on YouTube and shit. So anyway, moving on.
So yeah, these
We were
auditions, you were
yeah.
auditioning these people.
So yeah, we didn't really none of the auditions kind of panned out. So we were all in the studio, and I did backup vocals at the time. And Mike did say he's like, you guys should try Luke and see what happened. But I was in the studio and we just tried it out, and that was Disconnected. That was the first song we tried, and that shit slapped. We loved it. We were like, you know what? We were like, the voice is because like to be honest, my dude, like I'm not like I'm only now starting to get like a hang on my voice. So a lot of like Nothing Gross here is just like I'm just reaching, bro. I'm just like trying to catch these notes and wherever they can, you know, pushing my voice to the nines. Like that's why it's so scratchy, my dude. Which is still it's that I still sing like that on the new record, but now I know how to control it.
Okay.
Yes, now I know how to do other things than just yell. So, which is really cool. But yeah, Disconnected sounded great. And at this time, I was still playing drums, so I recorded the drums for Disconnected and Nothing Goes Here. I recorded drums for those two tracks, but we still had the demos for the other three, or actually the other two. We were going to do a 4-song EP, and I remember at the last minute, like 2 weeks before, I went through some relationship stuff, and then I wrote Fool's Gold. And at this time, we were like in the talks of signing with Equal Vision because we showed them the songs with me singing, and then they loved that. So they were like, yeah, so we'll record some more songs, and we recorded Fool's Gold, Out of My Head, and Chasing Ghosts. Chasing Ghosts was a co-write with our producer and other songwriter Ty Elgie. And that one obviously this is streaming the best, you know? So I
Yeah,
think
you've got well over I think it was like 1.5 million or something
yeah,
like that
yeah,
on that song.
that one's doing pretty good.
And
And
that's just Spotify. So that
yeah,
doesn't include
yeah,
everywhere else.
yeah. It's really cool. So yeah, anyway, we packaged all these songs and then we sent them out, got art, this and that, and like that's how we kind of formed like the current Calling All Captains we have now. And I remember when I first started singing, we only had Disconnected out, I think, and that was the big single that we were pushing. So we did a tour, and if I'm singing, that means we need a drummer, right? So we had our buddy Tim Wilson play drums for the Disconnected music video because he's really good. He can learn drums fast, and we needed it within a week. So we just put him in all black, keep the camera off him a little bit. So that's why he's not really present in the Disconnected video.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So I remember we did a Western Canada tour, and it went off. And when we got back, Tim was like, "Yeah, boys, I'll do it. Like I'm in, I'm in." And so
That's
we got him.
awesome.
Yeah, so he recorded drums for Out of My Head, Fool's Gold, and Chasing Ghosts. But so that's why if you listen to the songs, they'll hear that Disconnected and Nothing Goes Here are pretty chill. Like I'm not like he's a drummer. I'm a guitarist that wanted to learn how to play drums. Okay, so and
When
then yeah,
so when you did make that switch from being a guitarist then being a drummer, did you still like consider drums like your second instrument, or
I still do.
you still
Like
do?
I guess now I would consider it my third instrument because my
Hmm.
first instrument would be my voice, right?
True. Yeah. Now you've got that,
So
obviously.
so it would go voice, guitar, and then drums.
Yeah. That's wow, that's wild. Like going from being the drummer and then being the vocalist. Was it your idea to I know you kind of mentioned I don't remember which band member it was that was like, yeah,
It was the
let's
old
try him.
singer.
Okay, it was the old singer.
Yeah.
Was he the one that kind of pushed you, or was that something that you actually wanted to do?
You know what? It's kind of a mix of both. I remember we just tried it just to try it so we could have a full song to listen to, right? Because we didn't have anything. We just had instrumentals.
Right.
And
Back to when you're 13.
yeah. Oh no, it's this was like for the nothing goes to like
No, I
demo
know. I was
session.
just
Oh
saying,
yeah.
like, it goes
Yeah.
back to when you were in that first band and none of
Yeah,
you
just
sang.
yeah. So we just wanted a song to listen to and it's I'll be honest, like I got pretty down on myself, like lots of the recording process. Like I was like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna be a singer. Are you serious? Like everybody's listening to me at all times. Like if I fuck up, like people really fucking notice. You know, like it's a lot of pressure, and I had a lot of big like everybody loved Mike. You know, so
Yep.
like it's hard to take the spotlight.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but it wasn't that I was uncomfortable with the spotlight. Like I do like the stage. I've been dancing with my Métis dance group. We'll get into that later too. But I used
Yeah.
like
Hell yeah.
Métis square dancing. I used to do that, and I've done that. Been doing that since I was like 9 years old.
Whoa.
So
Wow.
I'm not afraid of audiences, and near the time I got to be like 17, 18, I started to MC. So I started to, be the guy in front of the stage being like, hey, everybody, welcome to our show, this and that. So I was already kind of doing the frontman thing before being a proficient vocalist. So it was the vocals that I was really most worried about. Like I'm not, it's like it's a lot of pressure vocally, and still I feel it to this day. If I feel like I can't hit a note coming up, I'll just scream. Like I'll just do a metalcore scream instead,
Hmm.
or I just won't sing it
Yeah.
because it sounds better than trying and failing.
I agree. 100%. Yeah, because it's better to sound good than be like,
Yeah.
oh, they're okay, or
Yes,
he's
exact.
okay,
Yeah, that's my worst fear.
Yeah, definitely. So when you were like first doing those shows, like I think you mentioned that tour you went on when you were like freshly the new vocalist and what Disconnected was out, right? As
Yeah,
a single. What were those first shows like with you being in that state of mind?
there's such a thing as too excited, and I remember going way too hard first song and being like, "Oh my God, I'm out of breath." Like I'm completely full shot, full stop. I'm out of breath. Like that was something that I didn't prepare for because at practice I'm not moving around, jumping around, like trying to put on a show. I'm just standing there. So that was the first like three shows that we did. We played Kamloops, Vancouver, and I think Kelowna after. I'm not too sure, but either way, um, each show was like a different learning experience. I was like, okay, so here I can't go too hard here. Like this part here is actually really hard, and then like let the crowd sing this part, and then it's yeah. So that it was a lot of that going on, but
Yeah, because you were also singing old songs at that point. That
oh, that's like completely out of my range vocally. Like it's
right.
we the only song we had was Disconnected out. So
So
like the
did you?
first tour.
What did you do in that case? Did you just try singing the notes that Mike sang,
Yeah,
or
yeah. We didn't change keys. We didn't do nothing. We just kept the trucking, and I I did my best. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? It was the first tour, and everybody coming to see Colin Captains knew it was my first tour, and we just and at that point, um, most of the people in the audience are like homies, right? You know, they're friends. They're friends of
Right.
friends. It's like people that you can fuck up in front of and like not feel too bad.
Yeah.
And as the band grew, I grew, you know. So that kind of just helped the stage show overall. Like we had practice the other day, and I pretended that I was in the crowd, you know, like I was like jumping around this and that, and I'm doing fine. So
When you guys rehearse, do you? I know obviously it's been what over a year or maybe about a year since you guys were on the road, right? Because weren't you in the middle of a tour when COVID happened, or you just finished one? I think.
we literally, well, no, we finished our last shows December 2019.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That was
thought it was February or
I
March.
I performed. I performed. I performed as Gaffwood. I opened up for Capstan.
Okay,
I opened up for Capstan. That was February, early
okay,
February, and then
wow.
a couple weeks after that, it was March 2020, and then that's when it all
Yeah,
happened.
right. We all know the rest is history. We all know the rest of the story.
Yeah,
Um, but I was just thinking that it. Actually, I don't remember where I was going with that. I don't
it
remember at all.
happens. It
It
happens.
happens to me all the time. It just goes. But
Your
definitely another. Sorry, go ahead.
your sponsor looks like it says Blueberry.
It does. It's spelled Blubrry.
Yeah,
B-
Blueberry.
Blueberry. I still to this day, I don't know if they say blueberry or blueberry.
I
And I have been
maybe they're
using.
just English.
I don't. I think they're American, but I mean, I've literally been using their service for like the last 7 years, and I still don't know
Nice.
how
Oh, they
it's
don't know.
pronounced.
They haven't. Okay, all right. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, because I use them for the podcast hosting for Pop Punk and Pizza, and you know, but yeah, I still don't know because I've heard it both ways, so that's why I'm kind of like not really sure, you know. But what I was gonna say is that it must have been really fulfilling when Nothing Grows Here came out, and it's all you on the EP, and it was just so well received, and being
Oh,
fresh as a lead vocalist, as a front man, it just must have felt so good
oh
to have
man.
that acceptance.
You know what? There was a moment. It was in Lewiston, Idaho. That was our first show. That the EP had just come out, so the only songs people heard at that time were "Disconnected" and "Chasing Ghosts." But the EP had come out 7 days prior, so that means that if you knew the other ones, that means you've been listening to it on repeat for 7 days, right? So the first show we played to, we pull up to this spot. You know, it's not a lot of people there. There's like 15, 20 people, and like we start the show with our song "Fool's Gold," which was a new one at that time, and we had four homies in the front row the moment we started, just screaming them back at me. My dog. I couldn't finish the intro. I was just like tears crying. I was like, "Oh my god, it worked!" You know, like this. It's actually real. Like that was an emotional moment for me, and like they fucked me up, man. They got me fucked up. I literally told them I was like, "Yo, I can't even sing it now. You got me fucked up." And then
That's the end of the set. Thanks for coming
yeah,
out.
yeah, no, but I pulled my shit together once the full band came in. I was still fresh from that song, right? Too, and
Uh-huh.
there was like lots of emotions coming in at once, and that was like a good cry. I never felt like like my words would mean so much, you know.
Hmm.
I guess
Yeah.
that's it's really I don't
It
know. Can't explain it.
Yeah, you can't explain it at all. It's different when it, it's different when it's like a guitar solo or you're the drummer and you've got this crazy drum fill. Um, the the difference of performing that in front of people is just so different compared
Yeah.
to words, because words can come, just like you're saying, they can come right back to your face to where you can hear them, and it's like, whoa. Because obviously
Yeah.
your audience isn't gonna like do the drum roll with you. I mean, some of them might, sure, but I
It
mean,
better
for
be
the
a good one.
I was gonna say it better be a good air drum,
Yeah.
because
But
but
like that's why I was worried is like, because I remember with Mike, our old singer, we had an acoustic song that we don't play anymore because low key, I can't fucking sing it. It's just too hard. Um, it doesn't really sound like us anymore anyway. Bullabub, besides the point. But
hmm
when he was playing it and singing it, just with his acoustic on stage, because we did the full band thing on the last chorus, right? Up until that full band last chorus, you couldn't even hear him because of the crowd.
wow,
It's like hometown shows, Kamloops shows, Vancouver shows. When he would play that song, the crowd would just be way louder than he could ever be. And it's like that was a moment I was like, man, like I have to compare to that. Like I have to stand up to that. And
yes,
that was the first moment that I was like, you know what? Like there's something to this band. You know, like it's captains. Like it's maybe this band is special. You know, like it's the culmination of the Edmonton music scene, all of these pop punk dudes, I guess.
yeah. I mean, pop punk is huge in your area, and I feel like all over Canada, really. Um,
It
and
is, but it's so strange because we're the people,
yeah, that's true.
you know?
I yeah, yeah, good point. I
Because
guess.
yeah, but it's so weird because like I remember I was going to a Story So Far show and
hmm
they played it and there's like 400 people there, you know? And
hmm
then when we play, we'll pack a 200 person room like on a good night. But then I was thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder if it's just like lack of a full length album first off, and it's like lack of consistently good tunes, I guess.
You
Because
mean
like
on
this,
on your part is what you're talking about, or
yeah,
are you
yeah,
talking about it?
yeah. On
Okay.
no, on our part, like
hmm
it's like just now I'm really starting to kind of notice like the impact that the EP had, and yeah, it's like local shows are a bit different, and I'm still in a local DIY mindset, man. Like we got a whole ass record label behind us, and I'll be in pop punk groups on Facebook, and they'll be like unsigned bands, comment your stuff, and I'll go to comment, and I'll be like, wait, you know, like when I spent like 7 years in that type of thinking, so
Right. Yeah. Thinking, oh, wait a
so
minute. No, we're signed.
yeah,
Whoops.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why I try not to get too down on like the local or the mid-tier circuit grind, when you'll have like three people at one show, but then you'll have 200 at one show, then you'll
hmm
have like 20 at the next, but then 100 at the next. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's it's just a mixed bag. So I guess just watching all of these people in Edmonton that would come out and see the story so far, it tells me that like, yo, these people are potentially could be listening to us as well. That like if we write the songs, if we put out the record, like we'd have the audiences coming in mass.
Right. And so, why a full length instead of going for another EP?
Because we already put out three.
I mean,
I
that's
think it's
fair.
time. I think it's time.
That's fair. I mean, I just feel like there's not, there's obviously the trend is not to put out records. It seems like it's more or less EPs or singles. So I was just curious, like, you just felt like it was time, or was there just like, okay, I've got an inspiration I want to do? Because obviously we don't know much about this LP yet because you're
That's
still
on
in.
purpose.
And that's on purpose, right?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like wanting to just take a little peek. I know you quote unquote leaked a song on TikTok that made me laugh. By the way,
that
that
that technically is part of the single.
I figured it was,
Yeah,
but
yeah. That's
it
that's
still
that's a
made me
real that's
laugh
a real snippet.
because it was like a second.
Yeah, yeah. It was literally only a second.
And I was like, oh man, because I was wait. I'm like, you're like, okay, I'm leaking a song, a new Calling All Captain song. Okay, you ready? Here it is. And I was just waiting for like some like funny ass cartoon thing to come up, and I thought it was going to be some kind of trick. And then it was like, yeah, just like a second of what
Yeah,
sounded like Calling All Captains, and I'm like, oh, okay, so he actually was wasn't completely playing around.
yeah. No, I don't think I'll ever be able to replicate my tone in that TikTok. I was just like so nonchalant and like yo, what's good, it's your boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, here's this.
Yeah. By the way, here's this.
Yeah. Here you
Nice.
go.
Catch you
Um.
later.
So with so what is the name of the new record officially?
I can tell you guys that because we've been talking about that a little bit.
That's what I thought. I just
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
sure if what I saw was correct or
No,
not.
yeah. Our song. Oh, whoops. No, our album name is called "Slowly Getting Better,"
Okay. So
and it's like all of the songs on the record kind of have some sort of um, kind of like a really personal reflection in a way. Like sometimes you don't want to do things and do better decisions. And I'm keeping it loose, but I want these lyrics to hit hard. But just because that our lyrics, like, I think that's one thing that's a little bit different about Captains is that, like, I feel like the way we write lyrics are, like, super to the point. Like, I'm not going to give you some grand metaphor about how I'm feeling. If I'm upset, I'll just be like, I'm upset. Like,
just come out and say it,
yeah,
instead
I'll
of
just say it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like, I read this comment somewhere, and it was just like, colonial captains sound like in a good way that like you could do this too. Like it's not some crazy groundbreaking like hard to play crazy stuff. You know what I mean? It's like it's a bunch of dudes just playing some rock and roll. Like it is what it is. And
Yeah.
we got a lot more of that. We got guitar solos on the record. We also have screaming and like heavy parts. We also have like pop punk classic shit. We have
Nice.
we have electronic drums and overlaid on the part. Like it's getting not. I'm not saying experimental, but we're definitely broadening what we've laid down the groundwork for, and nothing grows here.
Well, I was wondering with, the single you released on your own called Downtime earlier this year. After hearing that, it made me wonder. It made me wonder if there was going to be some beats put. Oh, nice.
Excuse me, everybody.
Yeah, here we go. There's a round of applause for
Hey,
you.
thank you very much.
Oh, that was solid. That's a
Yes,
good
sir.
like that was like a 9 out of 10. That was pretty. It was almost a 10. That was how good that was.
Yeah, no, I guess you will be hearing absolutely none of that shit for calling all captains.
Well,
That
but you were talking about beats like in some of the new
no
songs, right? No,
electronic drums.
electronic drums. Okay, yeah,
That's
that
what I'll
is
say.
different. That there's
It's
so
not
many.
beats. There's no 808s in there. There's no like
Okay,
yeah, no. We
why
don't we
not?
no,
Come
'cause
on, man.
maybe LP too. No, we wrote some we wrote some aggressive heavy pop punk. That shit that I think that's been missing, not gonna lie. Like I love all this music that's coming out, but I feel like pop punk bands are not very angry anymore.
It's been missing a little bit, I would say, from some of the higher up bands, you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
you know,
obviously you still have 4 Year Strong and
yeah,
bands like
of
that,
course.
but you know,
But even like the story so far, you know, like uh, even our homies in Seaway, you know, like they're taking a bit more of an accessible approach. When I realized after listening to this whole record, I listened to it front to back 2 days ago, and I was like, this is not. It's accessible, but you have to already like this type of music,
hmm
you know,
yeah, yeah,
which
maybe.
is, but lots of other bands, you know, like they're, but I don't know, we're hard as fuck. This record will prove that for sure.
I mean, it could be the fact that like All Time Low has
Oh,
been, you
I
know,
love All Time Low so much.
who doesn't? I mean, I
Oh,
love All Time Low, but you got All Time Low, Machine Gun Kelly, that have been kind of seeping back into the mainstream with something that is pop punk influenced, and so
hmm.
I'm not sure if that's why there's been a lot of new music on the softer side coming out because they're trying to, you know, maybe get a little ride on that.
Yeah, I guess you know, just people riding the wave and
Hmm
seeing where music's going, and you know, like it's we've collaborated with a like a producer on the last song on the record, and the producer's name is Splash Gang. I don't
Splash
know.
Gang?
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of Splash Gang before, but like
No, I haven't.
yeah, Splash Gang does a lot of producing for some like underground emo rap artists, you know, like Garden, which who is getting a lot of notoriety lately. Um, so it's just kind of cool, and I think there's just going to be more blending, um, especially with like the Machine Gun Kelly rise, with all the emo trap, electronic drums, guitar stuff coming about. So
Yes.
that means it's just mm, moments away from bands starting to write that type of stuff, right?
Yeah, because it's all these solo artists right now,
Yeah,
that
yes.
are really successful with it, and there haven't been enough bands successful with it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the next year or two or however many,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
because I'm wondering if like if the Machine Gun Kelly record came out and it was a band and they were called, you know, like Drive By Driveways or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, would it have still done as well?
Yeah, I wonder that too. I was thinking the
It's
same thing.
because I feel like, and you know what? He talked about this, and it is true. There's a lack of rock star, like there's a lack of star power in a way.
Hmm
Like, you know, it's people love their bands, right?
Yes.
But it's um it's nowhere near the same as like let's say a fan like Drake or Post Malone or Jack Harlow. You know, like it's I don't know. It's like the very strange. Like I think it's the type of scenes that are just completely different crowds as well. You know, like you got like the mainstream. I'll call it the mainstream like music consumers, right?
hmm Yeah.
Um, where it's a bit more Entertainment Weekly and Grammys and you know like idolship, reading about the tabloids, this and that, which creates star power, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Which
I agree with that.
yeah, like nobody's writing articles that me and my ex broke up. You know what I mean? Like it's like but it's kind of like that same thing. Is that I think that's why there's lots of solo artists doing better nowadays because it's easier for mainstream consumers to you know scroll through on TikTok, see one person, and be like, I like this one person, and then they'll
Yeah.
follow them everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So like if we made a TikTok and it's like all five dudes and they scroll by and it's like, hey, we're calling out captains, it's like skip. You know what I mean? It's
Unless you're BTS, like
yes, yes. Unless you're all like 6 feet tall and handsome, it's not happening. We're all under 5'10" and just average. So
yeah. Yeah, that's how it goes for for sure. I loved how you described that because it's sad but true. It really is.
yeah.
Um, so let's I was curious when earlier you brought up learning how to go from having more of that gruff sound in your voice to having, the smooth sound. I feel like everyone's journey for learning how to learn their voice or control it is a little different. So what's yours in this case? Because you said you've actually in the studio now you've learned how to do things a little more
Yeah,
properly. So
yeah.
how did that work for you?
So before our first tour with me fronting the band, we did a practice and realized that I had a lot of work to do to be like a frontman vocalist. So me and the guitar player, Connor, my best friend, we every single night, like I'm not even kidding you, every single night for about 4 or 5 months, we would watch warm-up videos, do practice videos with a YouTube channel for a man named Jeff Rolka.
Jeff Polka?
Rolka. It's like
Rolka.
polka. It's like polka with an R.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
get you.
yeah. So amazing coach. Like even off a YouTube video, you feel like he's right there teaching you.
Hmm.
And we would just watch video after that. It's we found out that we were not baritones, we were tenor vocalists,
Oh, okay.
and so it's through his videos we did all this, and we would practice these songs like 2 times, like 3 times, 4 times, and like you just go. I would sing for, we would cap it at like 2 hours a night, but it was solid, hard practice, and I still have a long way to go. Like um, having, and that's kind of how I helped myself learn how to just use my clean voice a lot more. Like if anybody listens to my solo stuff, it's pretty much all clean,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And that's on purpose, and that's just because I've learned how to do that with my voice. I've tried to sing like that over capped and stuff. It sounds bad. I'm just gonna be straight up. It's like it's like we gotta be. I gotta be singing mad. Like it's just way better. It just sounds better. It's way doper. So, but through these Jeff Roca videos, I figured out how to actually fry my voice in a higher register. I figured out how to switch between like a chest voice and like a mixed voice and sing in full head voice and the secondo passaggio break, how to get rid of the break, which is, if you're listening, it's like the part in your voice that's like, you hear that little
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you do some vocal warm-ups and you do that for like 15, 20 minutes, get your voice all ready to go, you won't have that break. It just smooth the whole way up, and you can just transition between the voices. And so that's kind of helped me in my live game. Now, when I sing live, I'm going to be singing a bit cleaner in spots just because it's easier on my voice, right? But I do scream a lot more live because I love screaming. I wanted to be a metal vocalist. I knew how to scream. I knew how to scream when I was in grade 8. I just never once thought about, hey, I should probably sing too.
But so for you, is it how do you go back and forth between screaming and singing? Is there
Take a
a
deep
lot of
breath.
you just take a deep breath? Do you have to think about it?
Not really.
Or it's just become automatic. I wasn't sure like for you if that was part of like the whole blowing out your voice thing was,
Yeah, it's,
you know.
you know what? I hear lots of vocalists like doing that, but better knock on wood because I've never done that yet. Maybe I've done it, I just don't know because I'm so uneducated on my voice.
I don't know, it sounds like you're starting to learn a lot though. I mean, I
Yeah, I'm trying to, but yeah, no, I guess endurance is one of the things that I guess just mostly focusing on, because like there is spots where like I need to use a clean part of my voice, and if I have a lot of adrenaline, it's just a lot of pushing, but a lot of singing is actually holding back your voice and controlling it. So if I have too much breath or if I'm out of breath, I might as well just scream because just for tonal's sake.
Yeah. So, what I know there's a lot you can't talk about with this new LP, but what can you tell us about it? I know we can't talk about the release date. We know the title. What else?
Um,
What else can you leak safely,
uh,
so to speak?
I think everybody listening to this should follow our Spotify because you should keep an eye on it.
Watch it
Uh,
day and night.
yeah, keep an eye on it and let us know what you find in like the next few weeks.
Few weeks. Oh man, now I'm excited. Don't
Yeah.
tease me, Luke.
I'll put out another TikTok teaser for the next second.
The
Yeah,
yeah, man, like I listened to that 1 second like 20 times already. I think I got this song figured out already. I think I know it. Just from that
yeah,
listening to that 1 second
absolutely.
about about 20 times. Um let's see, we got about 10 or 8 more minutes left. Um what I know we mentioned earlier that we were going to talk about some other things. Like, did you say square dancing earlier?
Yes, sir.
So, how the hell did you get into square dancing? Because now I'm just picturing you like in the whole like square
I got, I
dancing
got, I
outfit,
got,
you
I
know?
got that shit. I got that shit.
Yeah, you got all. Do you still square dance?
Oh yeah, you betcha.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, it's a big part of my life, man. So I'll put it straight. So in Canada, we got three indigenous communities that kind of are blanket terms.
Uh
We
huh.
got we got the Inuit community,
Uh huh.
the Métis community, which is me,
Okay.
and First Nations community. So that's what you call North or Native Americans.
Okay. I was gonna say we're
Yeah,
talking about Native Americans, right?
yeah. So
Okay.
in America, you guys just have Native American.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of broaden it a bit in Canada because of lots of indigenous history up here.
Sure.
As you get farther north, you get to like Inuit, Inuk communities.
Mm-hmm.
That's in like Yellowknife, Iqaluit,
Okay.
etc. etc. That's like the Yukon, like that next to Alaska type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then you come down, you will find First Nations uh, bands everywhere. Like it's all spread out Canada. We got First Nation like reservations like all across. But for Métis people, we're kind of special in a way. We're the only recognized mixed, I'll call it mixed race, community that's like recognized on a federal level because of how much history is within like our culture.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I don't know if you know this, but we flew the Métis flag as a people years before the Canada flag was even created.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. So, so Métis people are a mixture of First Nations and European. So, when lots of settlers came to North America and started to settle in Eastern Canada, they would find, like obviously they would come into contact with the local First Nations communities. So that means that some of these white guys, they'd fall in love. Some of these native guys, they'd fall in love with these white ladies, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. Yep.
so because of them actually having like a real relationship, wanting to start a family, they were kind of not seen as either white nor First Nations. They were actually not allowed to be, it's like their First Nations community shunned them, but because there was like First Nations in the couple, white communities shunned them as well.
Damn. So
So
then
it's,
did they start like their own?
yes, they started to go west. When you hear about Canadian culture and you hear about the voyageurs, the ones
Mm.
that went west to settle, all of these voyageurs were Métis people, like it's communities of, like generations of mixture between culture and culture, refined down over the years and over traveling. There's actually a lot to it. I participated in a video, but which is kind of what we're leading up to, is that Métis people have a very specific style of dance
Ah.
that is a mixture between First Nations, Scottish, French, and Irish dancing.
Oh my
It's
gosh, that's so
it's
many.
yeah, yeah,
That's so many
yeah,
different things.
yeah. But it's legit. And if you put in on YouTube, if you go history of Métis jigging, you'll find a video of yours truly. I participated in that, and I found out it's actually being played in schools across Alberta.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
That's so cool.
yeah. So a little bit more about that is that music is probably the biggest aspect of our entire culture, music and dance. So, like it was fiddles, it's guitars, it's spoons, it's dancing with your families, your friends, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
with that came square dancing. So we have I have a traditional square dance group that have been dancing the same dances that they've danced 100 years ago. It's been refined over the years, and want to give a big shout out to the Métis Nation of Alberta, who consistently put us on for lots of different events and advocate for us, and um, more or less like they're our biggest supporters. One thing that's kind of special about where I'm from in Alberta is that we're the only province in Canada that has Métis settlements. So my family is from up north called Paddle Prairie Métis Settlement. My mom has land up there, and there's communities, generations of Métis people that have been, like, because that's one of the coolest things about the Métis people is that it's not just the music, like the white stuff too, is that there's a lot of First Nations practices, like there was still trapping, like there was hunting, there was um, lots of like herbal medicines, like lots of things that were adopted from the First Nations culture that was kind of the bare bones of what it would shape to be with the white influence, right? So there's actually a recognized language now, but it wasn't called that back in the day just because it's just how they had to communicate. But it's recognized as Michif, which is a mixture of Cree, French, and some English. It's kind of like it's just like the Métis people. It's a hodgepodge of different cultures, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's like Cree language and First Nations language is very good for describing.
Okay.
Very good. Very heavy in descriptions because that's how lots of the language lexicon is based off of its descriptive words, right? So let me tell
Okay.
you guys a word for dog is a Tim. But because horses were never native to North America, they come from Europe, they were called Mistatim, which is big dog.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
yeah, so that kind of gives you a bit more. And that's another thing too, is that Cree language specifically is really funny because you can make up words to describe things because it's a descriptive language. So there's no word for hippopotamus just outright. But I could say and that means hippopotamus with all of the descriptive words. That's one of the longest things you could say.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah. And we got about
Huh.
15 seconds left for the hour.
And that's been today's history lesson, kids.
Yeah.
No, that's
But
really
yeah,
cool. Like, it's cool
that's
that
a
because
yeah.
like here in America, square dancing is just like, it's
Oh,
just
that's
like,
that
oh,
Grand Ole Opry type beat shit.
right. You're like, oh, it's just a bunch of hicks getting together and square dancing, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But like
Oh yeah, no.
square dancing that you're talking about is completely different, and it
Oh,
sounds so cool, and it's so cultured. I love
it's
that.
lively. It's
Yeah,
lively. It's an actual show,
that's
you
cool.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I do like about that.
I love that. Um, All right, yeah, man, we could go on forever. There's so many things we could talk about. I love this. But yeah, we gotta wrap up for the night. So what any last it's not, I feel weird saying last words because it's like you're gonna die, but you're not dying. But
I
anything
hope I don't.
yeah, anything you want to close out with though. There we go. I was gonna say last words, but I'm like, gosh, that sounds bad. But yeah, any you know what do you want to close out with?
uh, hmm. Well, I want to close out with I want to close out with some advice for everybody listening. It's is to really look for the good in a day. We all have the bad days. I have some myself. I'm going through it right now. But look for the little moments of sunshine because you'll find it almost every day. If you look for the bad in a day, dog, that's all you're gonna see.
Yep. Yeah,
And I
I
know it,
agree
and I know,
100%.
and I know it's cliche, but if you want better, then go get it. Hey.
There you go, man. Yeah, you want better, you just go out and get it. That's how it works, you know. It doesn't come to you, you go to it. So, awesome. Well, Luke, it was great to meet you, man. Thank you so much for being on Pop Punk and Pizza. I hope you had fun.
I had a lot of fun. Yeah, listen to Calling All Captains. I guess listen to Gaffwood too, because that's cool.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, look up
And
Gaffwood on Spotify if you haven't
and
done
watch our
that yet.
documentaries. Watch our documentaries. We have them out right now. Go to our Instagram page as well, which is Calling All Captains. You just go to the link in the bio, and you can find us everywhere.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, Luke, you have a great rest of the night, man.
Cool. You too, mate.
Thank you. And you're welcome back anytime, by the way.
Awesome. Hey, let's get it going in a little bit.
Yeah, sounds good, dude. Can't wait for the
Cool.
new record.
Word. It's gonna be slapping. All right, I'm
All
done
right.
out of here. You take care,
All right.
everyone.
You too. Bye. All right. Thank you so much once again to Luc Gaffwood of Calling All Captains for being on the podcast tonight. And if you want to go, like he said earlier in our conversation, go ahead and follow them on Spotify or wherever you stream music, because it sounds like we're going to be getting something new in the next couple weeks or so from Calling All Captains, which I cannot wait to hear. Can't just wait to hear that new LP in full whenever it is dropped. So I'm Jacques Lamour. This episode of Pop Punk and Pizza has been sponsored by Blueberry Podcasting. You can go to Blueberry Podcasting, go to blueberry.com, which is spelled BLUBRRY.com. And pick the podcast hosting service that you want or plan that you want. And at checkout, use that promo code Bangarang Radio to get your first month absolutely free. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast and you're not sure what hosting service to use, Blueberry is the one I've been using ever since I started podcasting, and I absolutely love it. So if podcasting is something you're wanting to finally dive into, hit me up. And let me know if you need some help, because I'm happy to help you for free, for nothing. I'm not like a professional, I don't know everything about podcasting, but I have been doing this for a while, and I'd be happy to help you out. So you can hit me up on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Pop Punk Pizza Pod if you have any questions about podcasting. But again, blueberry.com, that's BLUBRRY.com, and use that promo code Bangarang Radio to get your first month of hosting absolutely free. So coming up next week on the podcast and live stream, because if you missed the memo, we are doing a live stream every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time on our Facebook, our YouTube, and our Twitch. Next week, I'm sorry, I have to pull up the schedule here. Next week, April 28th, we have Drives the Common Man joining us on the podcast. And lo and behold, he's another Canadian artist, and he's super, super talented. and also happens to be from the Native American culture as well. So I'm looking forward to talking to Drives the Common Man. He recently just signed a deal with Lost Music Collective, so we'll be talking about that as well. So if you want to catch up on previous episodes in the meantime, you can go to poppunkpizzapod.com, or we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Find us there. Catch up on previous episodes. Give us a positive rating and review, because it really does go a long way and helps get the word out about the podcast. You can also find merch, find out how you can sponsor an episode of the podcast, or submit your band to potentially be on the podcast, whether it's just having your music played or a possible interview. You can do all that fun stuff at poppunkpizzapod.com. And don't forget to sign up for our mailing list there as well. So have a great rest of the night. Have a great week. And I will talk to you next Wednesday, April 28th, with Drives the Common Man, 7 p.m. Central Time on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.
I'm going out, I gotta go.
I always hit the wrong one.